What is up, you guys? The Atomic Beast here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Godzilla King of the Monsters new trailer. This is my first YouTube video back in a while, and I know you've probably seen a million of these, but I'm going to go through it with you guys, and hopefully you guys see something that you didn't already see in the past 1,000 videos of the other reviews. So let's get started. Alright, so for this version, I will be using the HD version on Vimeo, which I will link down in the description. I'm going to be using VLC Media Player since I can go frame by frame with you guys. I am not going to go into full screen though. I can zoom in though later on when I edit this video because the frame rate slows down if I put it full screen, and I don't want it to lag too much for you guys. So let's get started with this breakdown. So first we see Madison Russell in Boston here, looking through binoculars. I guess just looking around, checking out what's going on. This is probably later on in the movie, as after she's already been introduced to all the monsters and everything. So Emma Russell in the background talking about how our world is changing. You'll see here, this is the POW MIA flag that I'm sure every other YouTube commentator have pointed out. That's how I learned it. So she's looking at that. She senses something coming. And now you see all these storm clouds roll in. As we know from King Ghidorah's description, he's basically the living extinction event. When he flaps his wings, he can create hurricanes and major storms. So from that, we definitely can conclude from there that this is King Ghidorah. In a second, you're going to see lightning over here as well. And as you notice, it's yellow. Now, lightning is not yellow. So that is definitely King Ghidorah. Then we have the logos. So now we see Emma Russell talking about how there is a fever to fight the infection, which is supposed to be us apparently. She's talking about how humans are, destroying the environment, destroying the world. And then here we have Mark Russell, played by Kyle Chandler. So here we have a bunch of Monarch underwater vehicles, and they're exploring. Some people have said this is a Monarch base, but I've also heard the theory that this is actually the lost city of Atlantis. So maybe it will be tying in Atlantis, the lost civilization somehow with the Titans, which is what they're calling all the kaiju in this movie. Maybe Atlantis was, praised these kaiju, or maybe after it sunk, they praised the kaiju, specifically Godzilla, as you'll see in a second. So here's Dr. Serizawa. Now here we see all the hieroglyphs along the wall of people praising Godzilla up here. You can tell how huge this is because here's a sub right here, and look at the sub size compared to this hieroglyph. This is a huge hieroglyph. Going forward, this is O'Shea Jackson's character. He will be the head of G-Force, or one of the soldiers in G-Force. So here we see Godzilla with his spikes glowing. It's safe to say that I don't think Godzilla will be killing these characters, if some people have speculated, because we know Godzilla's spines light up when he is about to fire his atomic breath. However, if you refer back to the Return of Godzilla in 1985, when he actually is absorbing radiation, his spikes do glow, meaning that he absorbs energy from radiation. So it's possible he could just be down here, charging up since he has been last seen in 2014, and he could be absorbing radiation and getting stronger, or just recharging. So here we see Thomas Middleditch's character, which is basically going to be someone who's a arbitrator between the government and monarch. So there's not much on him right now. So in the future, if I make more videos about him, we will learn more about his character, and I'll go over it. So, all right, here we have our first shot of King Ghidorah. So you could definitely see one head right here with very good detail of the teeth. Another head right here, because you can see the horns coming off right here. Here we have some type of claw. I don't know what this will be. Maybe a piece to his wing or something like that. It doesn't quite look like a foot, because as we know from previous Godzilla films, his feet are very bulky. They're wide and everything. Here's the third head. Now, as the director Michael Dougherty has pointed out, each head will look a little different than one another. And here you can actually tell that some of these heads do look different from another. Here you can see the horn configuration is a little different from here. This head looks much different than this head, even though this one is might be facing a little more forward and at a different angle. You can still tell that the heads are very, very different. And then here we have his tail. And if you remember from the picture leaked of the rattlesnake, or the tweeted picture of the rattlesnake being filmed or sound recorded, it's possible that King Ghidorah will make sounds similar to a rattlesnake, and maybe this quilled tail right here will produce some sort of hissing sound or something like that. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. So here we have Madison and Emma Russell, a bunch of soldiers in the back, and then here's Charles Dance's character, which we know is going to be, the bad guy of this film. So here we have a flashback of the San Francisco fight, as has been pointed out by channels such as D-Man 1954. That's mainly where I got this idea from. Another way you could tell this is actually a flashback is because you'll notice throughout the rest of this trailer, the theme seems to be blue. And we know that in Godzilla 2014, the main theme color was red. So here you can see everything is basically red, on fire. And this is how most of Godzilla 14 was actually portrayed. Everything was red colored. Everything was darker. Most likely the beginning of the movie, or it could be a memory from one of the people who have crossed over into this movie who remember this scene. We could be seeing a memory, but we'll have to wait and find out. So here we see, oops, I'm sorry, let me go back. So here we see Mothra's, I believe the word for it is chrysalis. You can see all of these, I'm not sure if these are vines here or actually electrical wires or something, maybe because they're trying to control the monsters. As we know, Emma Russell is going to be a DJ for the monsters. She can control them using their bioacoustics. But looking at this better now, I'm pretty sure it's just vines. And you can see some statues over here. As we know, Mothra was basically considered a goddess of the monsters. She was highly praised. And so they built an entire temple dedicated to her. So in the egg here, you can actually see the rest of these vines and everything. And Russell is going to touch Mothra. Now in this scene, you might not be able to get this from the other trailer released, which is a little lower quality, but you can actually see some webbing here, which could mean two things. The simplest answer is it's just spider webs or something. This place is probably old, so it might just be spider webs. Or it could actually mean that Mothra larva has her silk power. This is confirmed to be Mothra larva, and I'll show you the evidence for that in a second. She'll have a little leg come out over here. Now, you could be thinking that this is actually adult Mothra, but she just has the little legs still because she has had tiny legs. in past films. But I will show you right after this scene proof that this is actually the larva. You'll also notice that she doesn't have antennas in this, and the larva never had antennas, but the adult Mothra always had antennas on her head. As other people have pointed out too, here are some red lights over here, which people think is, either a safety precaution for people who are getting close to Mothra. Maybe it emits a sound that is calming her down or something like that, which is why Madison is actually able to reach out and touch her, as we'll see in a second. So let me go back a little bit. Sorry. All right, so here we can see the little leg stepping forward, as you can see there. Another reason why I use VLC, because you can go frame by frame. So this actually looks like her little mouth right here. You can see there's a little slit, so that might be where the webbing comes out. Now, I'm not sure if we'll even see the webbing in the movie. We might, but it probably will not be useful, because I think it's safe to say that against these other kaiju, Mothra larva will not be fighting them in her larval stage, because she will be way too weak to take on King Ghidorah or Rodan or Godzilla. So she's probably going to be in larva form for this whole scene. So Madison goes out to touch her. Now we see our first shot of Godzilla coming out of the water. And you could also point out that this guy is just extremely happy for some reason to see Godzilla. I guess he just thinks he's amazing, which he is. Here comes Godzilla out of the water. And now we get a shot of Mark Russell with other people looking at Godzilla as well. And now we see the first shot of his atomic breath. So let's go frame by frame on that, and you guys can see it better. So one thing you can notice right off the bat is a lot more of him glows blue in this movie. Just like this whole theme is centered around the color blue. So you can see cracks in his skin somewhere, or some places where you can see the blue glowing through him. And then when he fires, obviously a lot more blue. You can see blue in these cracks all up here. His eyes glow blue, which I think is a nice touch. So here we see the first shot of his atomic breath being fired. So this was the first image we got to see of Godzilla, really. The first full body image firing this atomic breath. And this is supposed to be the scene where it is a call to arms. Maybe he's summoning Mothra to fight King Ghidorah and maybe Rodan. So we can speculate on that later, but let's get through the rest of this video. So now we see the first shot of Mothra spreading her wings. Now here is the evidence that the previous shot you saw of Mothra was actually still just her larva stage. If you noticed, I pointed out the little foot crawling forward, and you guys, or as we said before, Mothra has had little legs in previous movies, but watch right here as Mothra is spreading her wings, and you can actually see a large foot coming forward, and we did not see that large foot in the last shot. So that is definitely the separation between Mothra larva and then the full-grown Mothra. Watch right here, you're going to see a leg come out. Right there. So this is actually a really good shot of Mothra. I'll go a few frames forward so you can see her. You can see her glowing eyes through this as well, and you can see some antenna there. Now this is probably the same base that they were at under the waterfall. So we don't exactly know at what point in the movie will Mothra actually cocoon herself and evolve. We don't know what will trigger that either. If she's just ready to evolve, or if she senses that something is definitely happening between the other kaiju, that she will cocoon herself and hatch sooner. Possibly the scene we saw earlier where they were walking up to the chrysalis was actually later in the movie, where Mothra was incubating and transforming herself into adult form. And the larvae portion might actually be a lot earlier in the movie. So Madison might have seen Mothra as a larvae, and then she went into her cocoon, and then that's when you saw it in that last scene. And then this is most likely the scene where she is coming out of that cocoon and hatching, about to do battle with the other monsters later in the film. So that is a good shot. So here is another shot of the underwater base. This is probably right before Mothra hatches into her adult form. So here we have Emma and Madison Russell. Madison is particularly interested in looking at King Ghidorah touching the ice. Now I'll go frame by frame here, and you'll see on this monitor right here, which is Emma Russell's machine that controls the monsters. You'll see it says right here, detecting specimen bioacoustics. So most likely when she presses this button, this is actually how King Ghidorah wakes up. It sends frequencies out to Ghidorah that might upset him or something, or just wake him up in some manner. And that's how Ghidorah actually gets free from the ice. So she presses it, and it... Oops, I'm sorry. I lagged a little bit there. So she presses it. And originally, when you first see this trailer, you'll think that when she presses that button, it causes this area to explode. However, this is actually the Isla del Mono volcano, so it's most likely that she is not in the volcano, since the previous shot was all blue, and this is a series of islands, and then this is the top of the volcano. And as we know, I think it was in 1991 on the Monarch timeline, Monarch set up a base around the crest of Isla del Mona because they detected a sleeping giant in there. So here is the explosion. This is most likely Rodan coming out of his slumber and making his first appearance. Here we have our first good shot at Rodan. You could see the end of his wings are volcanic. That's the word. You can see his claws here. So, and then a lot of other people have speculated that this is another Rodan, but it is not. As you can see from this high quality version, you can see it a little better. These are blue lights right here, and on nowhere do you see blue on Rodan anywhere. So there's no way that is another Rodan. That is just a plane. So here we have a scene probably similar to the Halo jump scene from Godzilla 2014. It has kind of the same coloring to it and everything like that, very reminiscent of it. Kyle Chandler as Mark Russell saying, "You're out of your mind," talking to Emma Russell. Emma Russell slamming her device down, saying, "This is the only way." Here we get a really good shot of Mothra flying over Isla del Mona. Watch as all these roofs and everything, or the shutters, tiles and everything come off these roofs. Rodan actually has been described as a flying atom bomb in that sense. So here we see the actual display of it, where he can just wreck everything that he flies over. See, everything comes up here. You see all the wind dragged with it. Now, this is only a little wind, so that's probably how we can tell that in the beginning scene where all the clouds were coming in, that was most likely King Ghidorah, because all these little clouds right here, that's what Rodan causes, and as we'll see later, King Ghidorah causes these massive clouds, not these little dust storms over here. That's just a result of flying over. This is probably just all the dust coming up from the ground. So here we have Madison Russell running away. She's got something glowing here. This is actually her mom's bioacoustic machine that she uses to control the monsters. So behind her, you can actually see Ghidorah's gravity beams being fired at her. So it's most likely that Ghidorah actually knows she has this device. Maybe Emma doesn't know how to turn it off, or Madison doesn't know how to turn it off. Maybe she's trying to destroy it, but Ghidorah keeps chasing her all around, and he can't seem to get her. So this is her running through Fenway Park. You can actually see an old photo here of Fenway in black and white with all the baseball players and everything. More gravity beams shooting through. Here we have a truck rigging through somewhere. I actually have no idea what this scene could be. This could probably be Isla del Mona right after Rodan awakens and people are just fleeing the island, and maybe they're just trying to get off the island, so they're just breaking through this. I don't know. I honestly do not know what else this could be. Here we have soldiers going into Outpost 32, which is Ghidorah's outpost, we know. So this could be when Ghidorah wakes up. Something else to point out is that there is dead bodies here, which do not seem to be fully intact. So if Ghidorah killed them, I doubt they would be fully intact like that. So they could have been shot somehow. There might be two rivaling organizations here, most likely between Monarch and Charles Dance's organization. They will probably have a feud throughout this entire movie. So this could be when King Ghidorah wakes up also, and maybe this is Monarch team rushing in to try to take care of the situation or something like that. So and here we have another shot of Madison looking at a picture. Now here is her dad and mom. I'm not sure who is who in this photo, but more evidence that this movie will take place in Boston. She's wearing the Boston hat along with what we just saw before. She's in Fenway Park. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that this is actually a younger Madison, even though that kind of looks like a boy. I'm not too sure. And I'm only saying that because the hair has stayed consistent with this style. Let me go back to show you. So you can see she has short hair here, and then we can go back here, and it's kind of the same shortish hair for a girl style, and I doubt she would have it longer than that as a kid if she's had it short like that most of her life, and she's probably known for having short hair throughout Stranger Things and in this film. So what people have pointed out is that if you notice, you see these three throughout the movie, but you don't see, assuming this is the younger sister, you don't see this younger sister throughout the movie. And as we know, these two are divorced or broken up. So people have said that the flashback could be something happening to the youngest child, and maybe from that, one of them decided to praise the kaiju because, they are the rulers. They were the Titans of Earth. They were one of the first species on this planet that ruled this planet, and another one absolutely despises them for taking the daughter away. So that probably led to the feud, which broke the two up. But we're gonna have to see once more plot details come out. So here we can see this is probably Fenway Park again. Here we see Ghidorah's gravity beams, most likely. It looks smaller than the shot we saw where Madison was running from the beams, but this is still most likely Ghidorah's gravity beams. I don't know what this is over here. It might just be a pipe or something. I don't personally think it's anything. But here we have a Infinity logo. So this is most likely Fenway Park, because as you guys know, along the sides they have all their endorsements and their sponsors. So this is highly likely to be Fenway Park. I'm not sure who this is. My best guess would be this is Mark Russell going after Madison Russell, who we saw running away from King Ghidorah before, who has her mom's bioacoustic device. So that is most likely the scene where he is trying to find her in Fenway Park. Here we just have a scene of Emma screaming. The picture falls down. Now, importantly from this scene, I'm going to go frame by frame so you guys can see this very well. Now, the first frame of here, this is definitely Godzilla. And I never realized that until I watched, actually, Entertainment Talk Network's analysis of this scene. This is definitely Godzilla. And once I stopped at this frame, I knew for a fact this was Godzilla because you could see his spine's glowing right here. That is undoubtedly Godzilla right there. So this is most likely the scene where you're going to see Serizawa later walking up the stairs while everything is melting around him to get a close-up of Godzilla, or as it has been speculated, power him up by detonating a bomb near him, probably to charge him with nuclear energy. This is most likely after his first fight with Ghidorah. So here you can see an even better outline of it. This is most likely the bomb going off. I don't know where they are, or why there's a temple around or anything. I'm honestly not sure of any of this. I've looked at the scene for a little bit. I can't see anything else worth mentioning except that here's the Easter egg to the Exorcist statue. We all know Mike Doherty is a horror fanatic, so that is his little Easter egg to that. So here we have the explosion. Here we have DC, and as you can see, there's Rodan here. As I'm going to point out, you can see Rodan either spitting fireballs, or it might just be molten lava dropping from his body. You can see, you know, fireballs coming down. Either he's shooting them or they're just dropping from his body. DC is flooded here, and what we saw from 2014 is that when Godzilla makes land, this is when he causes a flood like he did with Honolulu. Here we see in the back is Ghidorah's hurricanes. Over here, it's actually getting brighter. So this could be Mothra over here. As we know, she lets out a bioluminescence that is almost blinding, and it's very light like this. Now, I actually don't think, two possibilities actually three. One is this could be a dream sequence, and the best relation I can give to this is, if you remember in the very first Lord of the Rings, when Frodo sees what happens if Sauron gets the ring. He sees all his friends in chains and everything's burning, and the orcs in Uruk-hai are burning down everything, and that's kind of a foretelling of the future. This might be one of the characters, probably Madison, having a dream or envisioning what would happen if King Ghidorah was alive, or was not defeated. If the kaiju took over the world again, and Godzilla never restored balance, or there was just a constant fight between them, this is how everything would end up. That is most likely what I think will happen, because I do not believe that we still have one more movie in this series, which is Godzilla vs. Kong. So unless they're going to re-show Washington, D.C. completely destroyed like this, which I doubt they will do, this is most likely a dream sequence. Second possibility is this could just be an edited shot, released just for the trailer to emphasize the amount of destruction that'll be in this movie. If you remember from, well, I'm sure a lot of movies have done it, but the 2014 trailer, one of the first ones, you can actually see a bunch of destruction, buildings destroyed, and nothing is in the background. But then we see later on in the film that we actually see Muto in the background. So they cut Muto out just for the trailer. So this could just be for trailer effects to emphasize the destruction. Here we have Madison Russell saying, "You're a monster" to Emma. I don't think this is one consecutive scene, because the environment just looks very different. It looks very cold here, and in the last scene, it doesn't look quite as cold in this background. But we'll see. Could have just been thrown together for trailer purposes again. Now here we see our best shot of King Ghidorah. As you're going to see in a second, there's one head right here, and there's going to be an eye opening right here, and then you're going to see the other eye on the second head in a second. So here you can see the one eye, and frame by frame, and there we see the other eye right there. That's a pretty good shot of him. You could definitely tell he looks, he looks a lot more evil in this movie. They emphasized a lot on his dragon style look, not like the previous films too much. Here you can see a little bit of gold on his skin. We're not sure if he's actually going to be completely gold, or if maybe he just broke out of the ice, so he's getting some of his color back or something like that. But the rest of him does not seem to be gold, only these few little parts right here. So we'll have to see what his color is through the movie. Here we see O'Shea Jackson's character. This is probably going through the Siberian base once Ghidorah breaks out. Here we have jets coming in to fight Rodan. Now let me go frame by frame with you on this scene, because you can actually see a good shot of Rodan's... Oh, here they're actually landing on some sort of surface, which is most likely an air base or something similar to, you know, the flying ship in the first Avengers movie. That's like a sky base. So here in a second, you're going to see a very good shot of Rodan's beak. Here we go, right here. So this is one of our best close-up shots of Rodan. You can see the beak right here. It's almost like a crab claw. I like how they gave him very accented teeth. They fit his character a lot. You can see more of him glowing. Emphasis on the magma type skin. So you guys all know of that leak that came out of Rodan's design, and I was iffy about it. I heard back and forth that it was the actual design. It wasn't the actual design. If you guys saw the cave painting that Monarch released, it actually did look like the sculpt that came out. But after seeing this trailer, I don't quite think that sculpt is real. As you can see, the beak curves inward a lot more than the sculpt does. So overall, it just doesn't quite look like it. It was very close, and I'd like to know what that sculpt actually was, because the designs are very similar. You can go back and forth with arguments if it is or isn't, but we're just going to have to find out when the movie comes out. So here he's destroying a plane, and actually you're going to see in the next scene, I'm not sure if it's this plane. Oops. Actually comes flying back, but you will see in a second. So right here, there's the destroyed plane. Comes flying back into the screen. Here's the jet again, which you saw in the other scene of Rodan. So I'm going to make a video on that later, what that jet could possibly be. And then here is Rodan flying towards the clouds where we know Ghidorah is. So this could actually be an aerial battle between Ghidorah and Rodan. We'll have to see how it works out, because as I remember, I think Rodan is about 156 feet or something like that, and Ghidorah stands over 500. So that is definitely not going to be a fair match. But if they do fight, we'll see how Rodan fares up against King Ghidorah. So here we have our best shot coming up of King Ghidorah. Now, from the YouTube trailers, you can't really tell. I could never tell until I watched this. But you can actually see King Ghidorah's eyes glowing on all three heads here. You can see they're very dragon-like, almost like Smaug from The Hobbit. So here we get the best shot of him spreading his wings, lightning in the background. So this lightning here, you'll notice, is actually yellow too. So what could be possible is that Ghidorah can actually generate lightning. We know Ghidorah can generate lightning with his wings, but in front of him. But he might be able to influence lightning elsewhere, because he's obviously not breathing it here, and yet this is yellow lightning in the clouds. So he might just have an overall lightning conducting effect to generate it wherever he wants to. We'll just have to see. You can see his eyes a little more. You can see they're very red. And here's that plane again. Again, I'm going to make another video on the plane and what I think it could be doing. And here we see Charles Dance, Long Live the King. Now here we get a very good shot of Rodan. This is probably the best shot we have of him from the front. Again, from looking at this, I can't see, you know, the spikes that were in the sculpture or anything. So I'm leaning more towards that sculpture that came out was not actually Rodan, and it was just something else. But the argument continues. Some people think it is. Some people think it isn't. Sides are equally fair. There's arguments against both. But here we have him going up, flying up like that. You could really tell that his skin is very molten. It almost looks like he is made of rock, which we can speculate on as well. You can see his hands here, flying up. Now here's Serizawa climbing up the pyramid that we saw before, where Godzilla was laying down. This is most likely him going up to see Godzilla, or to detonate the missile that's supposed to recharge him or something like that. We'll just have to see. I think it is safe to say, spoiler alert, so if you don't want to hear this, just skip forward a little bit. I think Serizawa is going to die in this scene. I just don't see him making out of this, unless it's similar to the 2014 movie where the timer on the missile was jammed and he just has to go and restart the timer, reset the timer, fix the timer, or whatever, and then you know, from there he has to run all the way back down these stairs, and maybe a plane takes him away or something. That would be the only possibility of him surviving. But if he has to remotely detonate this, I doubt that he's going to live through this movie. But we'll just have to see. Here we see Madison Russell again at destroyed Fenway Park with the jets flying over. Serizawa again. Oops. Serizawa again. This is most likely him looking at Godzilla. This could be the bomb detonating device over here. We'll just have to see. Here is a good shot of Mothra. This is an oil rig, and then her using her bioluminescence to blow away all the clouds that Ghidorah is causing. So let me play that in fast motion for you, so you can see the clouds blowing away over here. Here we see our last shot of Madison Russell in destroyed Fenway Park, most likely, and I'm pretty sure this is the ending of the movie where she sees Godzilla coming towards her to save her. She's smiling, most likely because I kind of deduced for myself that they said she is scared of the monsters at first, but she has a connection with Mothra, and then I think she actually learns that, you know, just like people, there are good people, there are bad people, there are good kaiju, and there are bad kaiju. So she most likely develops some sort of loving relationship with Godzilla. We don't know if Godzilla will have any ties to her emotionally, but we do know from 14, when Godzilla looked at Brody right before the smoke came over him after the building fell on him, he does definitely have some sort of emotional sympathy for humans. So we'll have to see on that. So here's our last shot of Godzilla with the military coming behind him. Ghidorah's lightning, and that's it. That is the trailer. So I will be making a lot more videos in the future. You guys can put whatever you want in the comment section below, what you want me to do a video on, Godzilla related. Again, this is my first YouTube video back in a very long time. I'm just starting to get started on it again. I will make a lot more videos just solely based on Godzilla. Most of my channel has been based on Godzilla. My highest viewing music video is a Godzilla music video, so that is what I will be focusing on. But I could branch out to other movies, video games. I'm also a casual gym goer and physique competitor, so I will be doing some videos on that, maybe some gym tutorials, stuff like that. But for now, that is it. I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something new. Again, anything in the comments, whatever you want me to make a video about, and I will see you guys later. The Atomic Beast out.